But I still try to, I still try to be nice when I can. Behind the scenes, my time with chasing reality was, especially this last year, I would say, was very interesting. It was extremely, extremely, extremely interesting. I will say this. I knew potentially that this was going to be my last season only because, and Dario told me, like, to my face, he was basically like, you know, I feel like you have surpassed the show, you have surpassed the cast. His words, not mine. I feel like you have surpassed the show. I feel like you have surpassed the cast. And I feel like there is no longer any benefit for you being here, right? There's nothing in it for you. And basically had told me, bitch, it's time for you to move on, right? Which honestly, at this point in my career, it was painful for me to say that because chasing reality, chasing Atlanta had to me been my base in my media career. Like I always knew I could come back to chasing reality and connect with y'all and showcase my talent and do all the things, right? But I also too felt on the inside, with me entering into all these newer spaces, um, that it wasn't necessarily time for me to leave the show because they were smaller or whatever, whatever, but it was time for me to move on from certain kinds of content, and I just needed to be placing my time in spaces that were a whole lot more edifying. Um, and so I was already kind of sad around that. And then when this happened, it really sent me into, I'll be honest, like a dark place because I feel like in my personal opinion, um, supported by conversations that I've had with Endario, conversations I've had with the cast and conversations that I've seen you guys had in the comment section, I had really contributed a lot to the show. And I will never in any way, shape, or form say I made the show or I was the star of the show. I think that is so crazy for anyone to say. But what I will be confident in saying is that I know my presence and the efforts that I put into it were highly beneficial to the success of the show while I was on it. That I will say. I was a part of the reasons why the show did work. And so for me to get this kind of exit was disappointing, right? Because the human side of me was like, what is going on? Especially when people have vindicated me, like everything that I've said is on camera. Um, there are statements that have been recorded. People saw with their own two eyes. And so then when all this propaganda of me lying, it was very emotional. One, this wasn't something I asked for, it's not something I wanted. It was something I tried to avoid all night. And the fact that some type of way it's still being put on me, like I created this, it was very emotional.